Well, everybody, it's not every day this happens to me. I'm kind of caught speechless here because I'm trying to phrase this in a way that won't get me in trouble with HR. We just found an RV that has a literal open door bedroom policy. Or it's a camper where if you're a country boy like me, believe it or not, I actually grew up riding horses and everything, you could just wake up in the middle of the night and pee off a balcony. Anyway, here's a look at the floor plan. This is one of the new Bullet balcony models. And what they basically did here is they took a pretty tried and true front kitchen floor plan and they said, you know, back in the bedroom, there's this wall that doesn't really do anything. What if it did? And they built on an optional use, easy, quick, fold down rear balcony system on this, which is a little bit twisted and weird and different, but I like stuff that's different because it's funny. I've never seen something like this. I don't even know if it makes sense. I just think it's fun to look at and go through. Let's talk about this thing. So you've got a front living room super slide, carpetless floor, barreled ceiling to give you lots of space, a walk-through middle bath. I haven't closed the slide yet. We'll do that later. I don't know what the road mode is like yet. But in the bedroom, you either have a giant 8-foot wall-to-wall window, which is tinted for privacy and has blackout shades and a radiant barrier to keep the sun from cooking you, but also has some dedicated bedroom, storage space there, a bigger bed in a slide, and the opportunity to fold down the hillbilly bullet balcony, whatever we want to call it back here. I don't know that everyone's going to feel real comfortable with the neighbors looking directly into their bedroom. Maybe that's your way. That's okay. I'm not judging. I don't care. The thing is, I don't know. What do you think about it? I'm still trying to figure my way through it. We're going to try to talk about what it does, what it doesn't do, how it works, and you let me know. Is this awesome? Or is this like, no thanks, dude? I don't know. Let me know. Now, just to help you get your bearings, I do want to start by going in through the front door right here, but I actually am going to begin the majority of the details in the bedroom, taking a look at the bedroom balcony, because that's really kind of the whole focal point of this floor plan. If you don't like that bedroom balcony thing, I don't think you're going to buy this camper. I don't think that you're going to want it. It would kind of be like showing you an awesome living room in a fifth wheel toy hauler, and then, surprise, it's a toy hauler. Never told you till now, and I don't want to waste 15 minutes of your life. You know what I mean? Anyway, this again, for the most part, this is a pretty traditional front kitchen arrangement. The windshield up front here is nice. You can see how they do have the blackout privacy shades. And in the kitchen, you do have all solid surface countertops. There is a little bit of a level exchange right here due to supplier limitations. Basically, the suppliers to the RV industry were not able to necessarily just make one giant chunk of countertop. And before I forget, that's actually an electric convection air fryer microwave oven, and you have a full propane oven down below. Plus, you have the 10 cubic foot variety 12-volt compressor fridge. So, quick little tidbits on the kitchen. You by default have a single, I believe, 15,000 BTU air conditioner, but you do have the option. I think it's actually applied to this RV of getting a second air conditioner as well. And if I'm not mistaken, I think you have a choice between a booth or a table and chairs like you're seeing here. But I really love how that table brackets to the wall, and it's just a complete no knee knocker. And overall, I like this decor. It's got a nice light dark contrast. Overall, it feels open and airy to me, but it has that kind of like olive green. It kind of looks gray on camera. It's got just a little bit of a deep green kind of touch to it. It still connects with that sort of natural feel and vibe to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm just like over the top about this, but I kind of like it. They also went, instead of a walk around bathroom, they went with a walk through bathroom, which provides this RV with a rectangular shower instead of a radius shower. I'm not giving you the best look at it. Again, we're going to come back to this. I sort of want to give you the lay of the land, but I really think the best way I can serve you in this video is by starting back here in this bedroom, because again, I feel very strongly if you don't like this, then you're not going to like anything about it. But what we're looking at is one of the reasons I personally really like this balcony setup, because when it's closed, unlike a traditional toy hauler ramp gate patio, that would be it would totally block the rear wall off. We are now gaining window space. Now, this window doesn't open for airflow. The whole balcony opens for airflow, but the window does not. So kind of keep that in mind. I like how they put windows all around the bed space right there. And in our early floor plan in a flash, for quick view purposes, I did something I hate doing. I gave you an ultra wide angle lens view. What we're looking at right now is zero skewed lensing. This is what I prefer. Sounded like I just called myself a pervert. Oh, probably got called that in high school a couple times. C'est la vie. Levy. Anyway, dad jokes, get it? You've got like a larger king bed in the bed slide back here, but this floor plan, they did this weird thing. They gave you the opportunity to open this up. And to help you kind of see and understand, here's like a little quick flyby sequence giving you the idea that you have, day-night shades. You have all kinds of things, like you can leave the patio open for airflow during the day, but you can keep the bugs out. It doesn't have any kind of 3 seasons enclosing wall like a luxury fifth wheel toy hauler. Neither is that available. There's not even a supplier that makes something like that for this size door effectively, but you can privatize it either by closing the whole thing or just by sort of, pulling the curtains, as it were. And that is an extremely easy setup system. I'll actually give you a more in-depth look at showing you how that goes up and down in a few minutes when we step outside here. But there's also, it has dual safety locks, one on the right, one on the left. So when you see them kind of crooked and bent like that, it's not actually safety locked. But the irony is when you step on it, it'll actually, you see how it kind of moved, it'll click itself into place. So if you forget to click the don't flip it up safety lock, you're not going to get yourself in trouble. You're not going to lawn chair yourself into your RV because you are actually locking it by stepping on it. Although I would always recommend doing that from the ground level. Before I forget, this does have an optional second air conditioner. It looks like a second central air. It's not. Snot, guys. So if you appreciate those extra details, drop a little, I don't know, something on the video, whatever. What do we got here? Oh, they apparently didn't have a way to not include a floor heating vent in this bedroom. Usually Bullet doesn't do those, but they also don't really have a wall where they could have hidden a heat duct. So they did what they had to do on this one, I do suppose. And this is interesting. Usually when you run into front kitchen rear bed slide models where that closet is located, that's usually where the entry door is. But they rolled it over, flipped it, and reversed it, kind of Missy Elliott style, if you will. They put the entry door all the way to the back of the camper, which means it's not covered by the awning, but that also means you have more unobstructed patio space. So I guess every gain is a loss in a sense. It's just a matter of what you like. I don't know. What do you think about the dual entry system? In the meantime, let's take a look at all the storage here. Those doors have hidden hinges, which means they don't open all the way. So I have to kind of really lean around this sucker to show you the hanging closet space in there. The power outlets in that closet are interesting to me because this isn't washer dryer prepped that I know of, unless there's something there that I've missed. I don't think it's big enough to have that. So I'm a little confused as to why those outlets are where they are. Maybe there's something. I won't sit here and claim to know I know everything about every camper every time. I try, but I don't. Anyway, good dresser space down below there. But look at this. A couple dresser drawers built in right under the bed. So you don't always have to lift the bed to get to everything. And I purposely left one of them closed so you can see while it is closed, you actually still have a big junk in the trunk storage space back there. So they really packed a lot of storage into this space. So moving on from here, I'm going to return back to our regularly scheduled programming. Actually, know what? We're gonna go ahead and hit the bathroom as long as we're walking right through it right here. First of all, I like the fact that you can't see the toilet straight from the living space, but there's also obviously excellent room around that toilet. And again, as I mentioned earlier, they didn't go with a radius shower, which most front kitchens have. Cougar was one of the first front kitchen rear bed slide travel trailers to kind of realize, oh wait, if we went with a walk-through middle bathroom, well then we can go with a rectangular shower. The thing is, not everybody loves a walk-through middle bathroom. So there's different RVs with different floor plans for different reasons, you know? You can see how, generally speaking, there's plenty of headroom up in there. I'm a little bit over 6 foot tall, by the way, so usually I can stand in this. But it is actually an industry standard 6.5 foot ceiling height. It just has about roughly a 5-inch, 6-inch barrel to it, which helps open things up. The double vanity over here is nice, although one thing I'm becoming kind of aware of as I'm looking at this, it doesn't have a ton of linen storage in the bathroom, but wow, you've got a nice chunk of counter space right there, which I actually do like quite a bit. Moving forward, you might notice how the carpetless slides just match up with the main floor. That's something that I personally really like, although, is it just me or does that slide floor look slightly different color than the main floor? Maybe it's a trick of the lighting. Something on that, I don't know. My eyes are like, huh? Anyway, I like Tim the Tool Man Taylor. Up top here, you can see how they went with the Tron lighting up here. To those are on a dimmer as well. We already kind of talked about the light and bright color palette. I think we've already kind of seen the living room. So what I need to do is dive in here and do a few more of the details. For instance, everywhere that they possibly can, they actually outfit this with the blackout roller shades, and they have them all wood boxed in, actual wood boxing around the window. So it just looks very simple, very clean. And, you know, if the sun is really screaming in, you really can block the sunlight so that it can't sneak around anything there. And again, no knee knocker dinette. That is something I always personally prefer. I like how they give you a switch in the slide box to the right of that window for the lights above the dining, and then some USB plugs over there on the left. That's kind of handy, you know? Those extra little details sometimes making that extra bit of difference where you really need it. But I do think it's about high time we actually crack everything open, look at all the storage in here. Because of the curvature of the nose cap on this, they weren't really able to pack it with a lot of overhead cabinetry. They threw a shelf up there, which is better than nothing, but they wanted to make sure that, like, if you were standing at the front counter of the sink, that you didn't absolutely cold cock yourself. By the way, if you look at the set of household plugs over here, which is in a perfect little appliance corner, in my opinion, by the way, it's got a yellow sticker on it. That's telling you that it's actually inverter prepped as well. These are wired up to be able to handle up to a 2,000 watt inverter without effectively rewiring stuff. I have seen some RV builders try to get cute and save a buck and not include any drawers in a front kitchen like this, which is just redonkulous to me. I can't imagine something like that. And it would need to be small, but like a small wastebasket that is kind of sized for like garbage or for like Walmart bags or something like that. I think you could actually use one of those under the sink there. I do appreciate also that they have fully finished and like sanded down the tops of those plywood drawers so that they're not organic splinter factories, as it were. Little bit of overhead cabinet space here. This is probably the place that I would put either plates or drinking glasses or stuff like that. Every time I look at an RV, I'm always like, how would I move it? Oh, before I forget, I mentioned that this is that electric air fryer convection microwave oven, just so that you could see it's got the handy little cooking plates in there. Your 10 cubic foot, 12 volt compressor fridge. This occupies the same footprint as the old school classic 8 cubic foot gas electric two-ways, but the compressor fridge doesn't have that condenser unit in the back, so it ends up being much deeper. That's where the extra storage comes in, basically. And I love the fact that they included that extra drawer down here. And in case you're curious and you're like, what is that thing in the drawer down there? This is for where you're looking a little bit of wiggle room, and the deal goes like this. So, yeah, we got wiggle room on this one. Anyway, behind the television, you have what I like to call the Pantrytainment Center. It is big and it is deep. It's a lot of storage. It is a little bit dimly lit.
Phrasing.
It's funny because they're actually really good about putting lights in a lot of their cabinetry, but they didn't put a light in here. Now, what's interesting is down below this, there's this big chunk that's just like a big shelf, basically. That's the outdoor mini camp kitchen. And they put that there because they needed somewhere to give you easy access to the converter panel. So when the slides are closed, you can always access your fuse stations and whatnot, which I think was a really good, really smart call. But it also meant that you don't get a full walk-in pantry behind the entertainment center. But at the same time, you also, I don't know how much you necessarily want storage. Like, you don't want a ton of storage below your kneecaps if you can possibly help it. So they really kind of work to make everything as easily accessible and functional. I forgot how to word for a minute there. And it is on this floor plan. It's interesting. They do different theater seats on different floor plans because of slides aren't always the same size. But basically, this one does have that hard armrest fixed in between the two theater seats right there, which is less cuddle compliant. But this is also as easy direct viewing of an entertainment center as I think anyone could ever hope for, because they didn't mount the TV all the way up against the ceiling. They left it down a little bit closer to eye level where it's going to be easily viewed and readily available. By the way, if you don't like that hard armrest in the middle, don't have a heart attack, or as Bart Simpson would say, don't have a cow, man. That middle section, this chair and that chair, are 3 separate pieces. So, if you wanted to, you could take the middle chunk out. Maybe you could place it all the way against the sidewall in the slide to help occupy some space. I don't know, but you do have that opportunity there. I am eyeballing this, and I think we're about to encounter what I call 2-stage travel access. Let's find out. Oh, yeah, no question. We have completely cut off the back of the camper here. From the entry area, though, you can get up to the kitchen where I'm at. You can get to the sink, which is behind my butt. You can get to the stove, the storage, the refrigerator. So from there, it will be travel stop friendly, unless you are able to shrink down like Ant-Man, though. I don't think you're going to slip between those slides. What you may have the opportunity to do, though, is activate what I call 2-stage travel access and slide back here. What I don't know is if the bed is actually going to block the bedroom, because this is a new floor plan with an unconventional door placement. And in theory, it actually kind of does block access to that bathroom. Because here's the thing. The slide system on this RV is not one that likes to be occupied while retracted. This is called AccuSlide. So there's 2 cable slides. Like, you look at both of them, you're like, there's a cable there. If you look above them and you can see the bicycle chains and cables, that is AccuSlide. If you can't see that, it's Exact Slide. So that'll teach you which one to identify. The cool thing with AccuSlide, though, is it doesn't mind if you open it partially. So if you want to crack open this or the living room slide halfway to get to the bathroom, you can. But if you want to get to the bathroom without opening the slides completely, I mean, there's no way to do it otherwise. It's not ideal, I guess, is what I'm saying. This is like when I screw up using words with my wife, and I'm like, if I use more words, I can fix it. And that's the point where you start to hear Morgan Freeman narrating your life, and suddenly it becomes, but he did not fix it. In fact, that night he slept on the sofa. Because every sofa can be a sleeper sofa if you talk to your wife wrong enough. All right, so if we are going to be towing and going, what's it going to take to move this sucker around? I think the vast majority of RV salespeople out there, whether they're being predators or they were poorly trained, would probably tell you, oh yeah, half-ton pickup will tow this all day long. There may, in theory, be some half-tons that could handle it, but generally speaking, when you encounter a front kitchen with a ton of storage dead on the nose and a big, heavy super slide on or in front of the axles, usually you encounter an RV with more hitch weight than most half-tons should be towing. Now, I could certainly get more views on this video, and we could certainly make more money if I was the type of person just went, yep, half-ton towable, give us your paycheck, guys, full send, brother. I'm just not that way. And I love the fact that I work for a company who wants to put safety before the sale. And if that means that disqualifies, if you're like, yeah, but I can't give up my half-ton. I'm not going to buy a 3/4 ton just to go camping. I respect that. If you appreciate that we went out of our way to disqualify half-tons, which is the most popular vehicle basically on the road today, at least drop us a little like on the video, you know, looking out for you where we can. Now, up front, basically, that's called the Gigi box. That's a battery disconnect on steroids, so the batteries aren't getting drained when the RV is not in use. And this has a 220 watt factory solar package with Victron MPPT 30 amp charge controller. If you don't know what that means, basically, it's a more effective, efficient charging system. Now, out here, one of the interesting things is like, is that an awning dimmer? No, okay. So that's a dimmer switch for these front patio lights that are just beaming right now. I don't know if I want to call them patio lights, but screw trim end cap nose lights right here. They look neat in person. I don't know that they're super effective because they really only point at the neighbor's campsite. So unless you're boondocking in the middle of nowhere, I don't know that I would really turn those on, especially in the evening hours. Big awning space on this. Yeah, buddy. Okay. I'm not upset about that. You know, more awning space is better than less. The water heater is a tankless on-demand variety, and as long as I'm up here, power awning, power tongue jacks, power corner stabilizer jacks, enclosed forced air heated underbelly. This would fall into that extended season category. By the way, if anyone has ever tried to tell you this RV is just, if they just say 4 seasons, and then they stop talking, they don't explain what that actually means, get away from them, because they're only trying to say what they think you want to hear so that you buy an RV. Kind of like the whole half-ton towable debate. There's so much more to it than that. Now, real quick, I don't demonstrate this enough on camera. This has privacy shades for both entry doors built right in from the factory, which is sweet, but they're a little awkward to use. The thing is, usually once you get them set, most people tend to leave them. So like basically like you're seeing right here, you gotta go out, close the screen door, adjust the shade, then do whatever you want with your life, effectively, which is not the most convenient way of things. But again, typically once people figure out where they want the shade set, they tend to just leave it right there. In that pantry, tainment center, they had some extra space, so they built the little outdoor mini fridge station, because remember, your converter fuse box is like just inside that laminated wall. Like if we punched a hole through that, we'd be looking at the side of your charging station. So this was space that was not readily easily accessible from the inside, so they opened it up outdoors. I thought that was kind of smart. This is a massive 1-2 punch right here though. They are, first of all, running on Goodyear Endurance radials. That's 87 mile an hour rated. They're also TPMS prepped, but that's not what I'm excited about. The major number 2 item is that this is not a leaf spring suspension. A year or two ago, Bullet and Passport from Keystone both upgraded to torsion suspension, like Rockwood, Flagstaff, Airstream. They're using the same suspension package and tires here. That is some nice towing and going peace of mind right there. Now, I get it. When I have it open for display like this, the bedroom looks very exposed. Keep in mind, you know, you shut the patio, you shut the door. That's not going to be the case. Actually, let me do that. Because when you do, you suddenly feel a lot less vulnerable to the gas station murder hobo what come and get you. By the way, when it's Christmas time, that's when you start to encounter the holiday murder hobo, because the gas station murder hobos retreat to their subterranean dwellings, but neither here nor there. You get the idea. You can close this up, but you still maintain the ability to have that full rear window. But if you notice on the left-hand side, it still has the blackout privacy shade with a sun-blocking radiant backer. So you're not turning your bedroom into a greenhouse unless you have some kind of growing operation going on in there. I don't know. Now, in case you're curious how this thing works, I'm actually going to do something I don't normally do. I'm going to recycle some footage from a previous model where I ran you through a full demo. So what you're about to see comes from a different floor plan, but it's the exact same mechanism. So one of the questions I think someone's going to ask is, can I keep the bugs out of this thing? I don't want to just open the back door to the biblical locust plague or something like that. Well, good news, Carol Baskin. Basically, it's got a set of day shades built right onto it, almost like a Euro window, but just the world's biggest Euro window. So you have one from each side that can come in and close in the middle. Now, it might be a little hard to tell on screen, but we actually have the same thing going on down here, but those are blackout night shades again, so that if you don't want the neighbors to be able to see in here, and they have a radiant backer on this side, So if the sun is just screaming, you're in Texas, Arizona, whatever, where you're about 2 feet from the freaking sun, you can help keep the sunshine out of this thing. And not to mention, it's obviously very tinted. That will help tremendously. But, you know, what does it take to close this thing? Like, do you got to be like, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger here, or can you be more like Danny DeVito? Well, good news, this is pretty easy. You've got one of these bars that keeps it locked in place on either side. You just give it a quick little shove, and notice how it's already starting to recoil. When I do this, you're going to hear a little bit of like a cable sound. Part of it is just these cables wiggling. The other part is this actually has a tension like cable assist kind of system to make this as easy as possible. It's spring loaded, not cable assist. That's a different thing. But you got these handles right here. Don't put your hands here. You will pinch the crap out of your hands and take a Pac-Man chunk out of this sucker. Ask me how I know. Anyway, you just grab this and look at this with one hand. Like, and I got skinny chicken nerd fingers over here. You can close that sucker up and then it drops right down. So it's not like you don't need a big person to do this. You just give that a quick little thunk to lock it in place and you're done. That's what I like about this. It's simple, it's quick, it's easy. When it's in the up position, you still have a giant rear window, which is really nice. It just gives you the option on a spring or a fall day to open the camper up and just enjoy it in a way that's never really been possible before without an 8-foot toy hauler garage sticking off the back side of this thing. The other thing that I really like about this, oh, no, other way, I'm an idiot. Look how easy this is. These are positive cam latches. So come right over here, camera guy. Mr. Mike, who manages Bullet, helping us out today, by the way. So tell Mr. Mike and Keystone thank you. First of all, what I like about these, they are self-clasping. So you have to manually unlatch it. So it already going down the road is more secure. Secondly, it has a key lock. It's not just a padlock system where somebody can bolt cutter this thing and hop inside your RV and have their way with, you know, all your stuff. It has to be done very intentionally and just gives you a little bit more control over something that otherwise could be like a wild feature, you know? They really thought this through. So hopefully that footage was helpful for you. By the way, if you appreciate the extra demos, those things take a lot more time than you need to realize to put together. I don't know, drop me a little like or a thanks nerd in the comments on the videos. Another quick note here, because this is a revised version of a kind of toy hauler thing, they came up with, well, basically they reused some, you know, toy hauler stuff. And I really like how they went with the positive cam locks because even if you don't lock it, it won't pop open, but you also do have key locks there so you can secure the whole space. By the way, I've been told, because you don't want to put your hand on that bend, these handles, they're going to put another set of them down here. So if you're more gravity friendly and live in this area of the world and not up there, you can pull down on the gate from here and not end up pinching your hand or anything like that. I'm looking around. I don't see a ladder prep mount. I'm going to look to see if I can find one somewhere else on the RV because this has a walkable roof. I'm just kind of curious how we get up there. I like the how all around both slides you have breeze windows. There's no light under this bed. It's not a primary storage location, but thankfully we have the technology. What was the Harry Potter phrase? Lumos Solari or something like that. That's how they got rid of the devil's snare. We've been watching the Harry Potter movies, obviously. You probably don't care. Where are the sewer hookups? Oh, okay. So I'm looking for stuff as we go here. I've located the ladder prep mount. That's right over here between the two slides, which makes sense, although it's directly in front of the TV antenna up there, that big black bucket looking thing, which isn't my favorite. But with those telescopic ladders, when you get off the ladder, you actually step left or right. So that actually might be better than I was originally thinking. If I'm not mistaken, though, they did. They cross-plumbed everything. No, they didn't. I didn't see the front. Crap! All right, so it looks like the right-hand outlet is our bathroom black and gray. The front outlet is our kitchen gray. But they are all kind of buried under this super slide here, which is not the most ideal location for them. Especially considering the fact you don't want to usually just leave your gate pull valves open all the time. Gray water You still shouldn't, but it's usually not a problem. You do not want to leave the bathroom black water gate valve open all the time because the liquid stuff runs off and the solid mass builds up into what is known as the pyramid. And that is not how anyone wants to spend any time on their camping adventure. One of the other things that I like here is they've maintained that full front pass-through compartment, as you can see. It's a little bit smaller than most of them because you still have some good kitchen storage inside. They split the difference, I think, pretty well. But you also have that enclosed docking center right here, which is, Bullett's not the only brand of trailer to do that, but most travel trailers don't. Kind of like most travel trailers don't do that better suspension package, but Bullet do. So it's all a game of what matters to you and how do you want to spend your money. I'm just trying to give you the information so that you know what the dollars represent on the different brands. And I mentioned this earlier, in that front pass-through, there's a dimmer switch for this nozzle. You can turn it just plain off, by the way. But it doesn't necessarily have to be so overpoweringly bright. For instance, if you wanted to just have like a nice little dull glow, you can crank that dimmer way, way down, and anything in between. It's not an all up or all down kind of thing, but you can also turn those off. Again, remember that outside speakers and lights at night are the two most common complaints in RV parks and campgrounds. So please be a decent, respectful neighbor and bring your lights down and or turn them off in the evening hours. It just makes everybody's trip more pleasant, basically. So we're back here where we began. I'm still not sure what to think about it. I don't know if it's genius or insanity, but I would love to hear from you. Now, do me a favor, leave me some comments. If you like how we're trying to tell you, like, hey, here's what this thing does, here's where it's cool, and maybe here's where it's not. Like, trying to give you both sides of that equation. Subscribe to our videos if you haven't before, and know that we're going to do our best to help you find your second camper the first time, and that means telling you the good with the bad. The other thing is, if you're like, man, I love that balcony concept, but I don't want it in my bedroom, you got anything else? Yes, we do. I will try to remember to leave you video footage for this one as well, which is more of a rear kitchen patio balcony kind of model. So they're making a couple varieties of these, like 2 or 3 select floor plans. They're not going totally nuts. What do you think about this thing? I don't know. Maybe it's great. Maybe it's not. But I had fun today. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.